A candidate for the degree Doctor of Humane Letters. He will be presented on behalf of the faculty by Sarah B. Cohen, Associate Professor of English. Following the conferral of his degree, Dr. Singer will give a brief commencement address.
President OLeary, Mr. Warren, it is both a pleasure and an honor to present to you Isaac Bashevis Singer, a distinguished novelist, short story writer, essayist, and reviewer. He twice has selections chosen for the National Book Award, and in 1978 was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature. He has lectured in Yiddish classes at the university on several occasions and has participated in the Capital District Humanities Program. The official citation which accompanies the degree reads as follows: "Your writing, rich in humor, folk wisdom, and knowledge of the heart, has resurrected a dead past and preserved the vitality of an entire culture. Your magical stories and novels, informed by your inimitable use of the Yiddish language and worldview, have captivated our minds and have held us spellbound with delight. Your ingenious narrative art has helped banish the tedium of our lives and has uplifted our spirits. The State University of New York is proud to honor you, Isaac Bashevis Singer, Nobel Prize laureate, by awarding you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters."
Isaac Singer, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the State University of New York, and with the concurrence of the faculty, I bestow upon you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, and invest you with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereunto. In token thereof, I hand you this diploma and direct that you be vested with the hood appropriate to the degree Doctor of Humane Letters.
President OLeary, Dr. Bicker, honored guest. I was told by the President that I have between 15 and 20 minutes time, so I'm not going to read you my whole lecture, but a part of it, the last part of it. I always feel that the last part, whether of a novel or of a lecture, is the best part, or at least it should be. It is a lecture about freedom and literature, but it's mostly about literature where I'm more or less at home. By the way, I want to say that I'm very honored and happy to have gotten this degree in this university. It's a great university, and New York is very near to my heart and all its institutions. I wish all the leaders here a lot of luck and many, many generations of learning to come. So I begin more or less in the middle. More than any other human institution, art opposes any kind of routine and established thinking. It is playful even when it is mourning. It originates its own logic, where cause and purpose become identical. The artist cannot be totally serious because the whims of the events and the fancies of the spirit are his subject matter. The artist thrives on the vagaries and fantasies of love, where freedom is the law and the exception is the rule. In epochs of tyranny, literature somewhere has managed to ridicule tyrants and dictators. Like life itself, art is a risk and a hazard in its very nature. It tries to sneak by the mighty powers of causality, to muddle through and smuggle itself over the frontiers of all possibilities. It is always fragmentary, never complete. No literature can tell the whole story. Its validity is the venture and the mood of the moment. All theories of art falter. All efforts to give to art the stature of science fail. The arts, like the emotions, are unpredictable. Where talent reaches high, it surprises the master himself with its deviations and daring. The worst mistake a writer can make is to assume that the days of aesthetic enjoyment are past and that the artist can permit himself to bore his audience in the name of a higher purpose. There is no paradise to compensate bored readers. In art as in love, the act and the enjoyment must go together. If there is redemption in literature, it must be imminent. In contrast to politics, art does not thrive on promises. If it does not impress you now, it never will. Human individuality is not discovered by tricks of speech. The real writer restricts the volume of the words while broadening their meaning. He may start art with general statements, but he proceeds from there to a description of the hero and his or her specific situation. As he proceeds, the writer must remember that his work has to evoke a sense of enjoyment in the reader, to lift up his spirit, and to give him the means of escape which every form of true art affords, be it comedy or tragedy. The literary artist cannot probe into the human condition without certain limits. He cannot solve social problems, try to reform society. He is building the future by telling tales and by keeping the past alive. Even the great works of poetry were narrative until not long ago. It certainly is not my intention here to preach realism, mysticism, or any other literary-ism. I do believe in literary experimentation. I'm sure that new media and new methods will develop in writing. Every creative writer brings to his work his own variation on style and method. But I do not believe that the maximum can be attained by discarding the minimum, by broadening the definition of literature to such an extent that it becomes propaganda, or by confusing it to a degree that it becomes a puzzle. The most important manifestations of talent are an innate and relentless urge to brood